came from doing telesales, but I did not have like a warm market of people that I could bring with me. So for my first like year and a half in the business, I only had a team of about 4 people, including myself. And I told myself that I did not know how to recruit. And obviously, if you tell yourself that you don't know how to recruit or that you don't know how to sell, what's going to happen? Like, you're not going to be able to recruit or sell. So just like with sales, I think something just clicked. I was like, all right, I have to figure out how to do this no matter what. Otherwise, I'm going to be selling for the rest of my life. And nobody truly wants to do that, even if, you tell yourself that you do. So what I started doing, I knew it had to be cold market. I started doing social media. I knew nothing about social media. I really don't have like a social media background. But there's really 4 things, and I want to give you guys the 4 tips to actually start posting and have your videos do well. So the first one is posting something that's relatable or trendy. So for me personally, I was doing like day in the life videos, because in this generation, and a lot of us are in like our 20s, 30s, so we're all kind of seeing the same content online. That's the stuff that I would watch. So I knew if I liked it and I wanted to recruit young and hungry people like myself, that, if I liked it, they would like it too. So it was just like my sales. I would film myself throughout the day. And another thing is like numbers. So we're all visual people. So I would put like the sales and the timestamps, and it kind of just clicked for a lot of people. So the first thing, obviously, something relatable and something trendy. The second tip is consistency. And this is really big if you are strictly recruiting off of cold market, because there's no like rapport, and you don't know these people. Like, it's complete strangers. And so if you only have one post on your social media, or you only post once or twice, like on your Instagram story, no one's going to trust you, because then they're like, oh, you had one good day or you had one good week. It has to be consistency, because when people look at your page, if they see 30 different videos of you doing the same thing over and over again, they start to trust you, and they know that it's not just like a one-off sort of situation. The other thing with consistency is like the algorithm. I don't really know much about the algorithm, but I do know that if you only do it once, even just once a week, it's not enough. So in the beginning, when I started posting, I would post at least twice a week. I would try and do 3 times a week, but sometimes that didn't happen. So at least like twice a week. The next tip that I would say is that it has to be on several different platforms. This is probably the easiest one. I would post on Instagram, and then I would just post the exact same video, the exact same captions and hashtags on TikTok too. And I got like a lot of recruits naturally through TikTok, and I didn't even boost it, which brings up me to my 4th tip, which is ads. It's so stupid easy that it's like, why isn't everyone doing this? Like, I did get kind of lucky that I had a few videos that had a lot of views, and all I did was boost them. So especially on Instagram, there's literally a button that says boost reel. You boost the reel, you put a little ad spend into it. I do like 10 to 15 bucks per day. And then once I started posting the ads, obviously the videos got more views. My team went from a team of 4 people to I had 32 writers. I think over the course of since May, when I really started doing it this year, I put probably 180, 190 people through contracting and through testing. And ads were a really big part of it too. I think that's something that like we overcomplicate, just like everything else in the business. We always overcomplicate things. But yeah, those are really the 4 tips that I would say to social media. It's easy, but the main thing is like consistency. And one last thing I'll say about recruiting is you have to track your recruiting metrics just like you track your sales metrics. And that's something that I heard from Zach Twardowski. So everyone's goal, at least with our agency, is like 10K a week, 10 to 15K a week. It has to be the same thing with recruiting, especially if it's cold market, because 1 in 10 people with cold market are going to stick and like go through testing and get licensed and actually start selling a policy. 1 in 10. So my metric weekly was 10 recruits per week. because then I know 5 would come and go through testing and pass their test and make it through contracting. And then out of those 5, I would probably have 1 that actually like stuck and started to sell.
Nice. Okay, so are they reels you're posting? Is it you do the reel first and then post it to your story? How's that work? And then tell us how you're getting the new agent started
Mhm.
and what the system is for that. And I'll be right
Yeah.
back because I think the dog's trying to jump the fence.
Yeah, yeah. So I do reels. I just do reels on Instagram. Eventually when you post reels enough, you'll start to get like more traction to your page. But not only just reels, but I'll also post on my story too. So like usually anytime I make a sale, not every time because like I'm busy, but a lot of the times when I make a sale, I'll just post something super simple, like how much it was in annualized premium, and then how much I made in commission, and then how long the phone call was. Because at the end of the day, I truly believe anyone can do this job. It's so stupid simple. So when you break it down and simplify it, then it makes a lot of people feel like, okay, like, yeah, maybe I could do this. So, okay, this was a 45-minute phone call. This is how much I made off of this 45-minute phone call. And I did it all from like my laptop at home. And then when it comes to the process of hiring, everyone kind of does things differently. Like I know people who will do group calls and then individual interviews, and I know people who hire interviewers. And this was something that I have tweaked a lot along the way. So the system that I have in place now is I will have them respond to the Instagram ad. I'll send them a message that says, okay, please book on my calendar. And then I literally just have a Calendly link on my calendar. And I'll jump on an initial interview call with them. I explain what's required and what's actually going to, like, I give them a rundown of the business because, you know, if they don't want to do commission only sales, if they don't want to work 9 to 7 a day, every single day, like, you know, I don't want to hire them. So I'll explain everything to them. I'll answer any questions they have, and then we'll do a secondary interview call as well. The reason I do this is because you want to make the process a little bit harder. Like you don't want to make it like so stupid easy that you'll just take anybody on your team, because then you're going to waste a lot of your time trying to train them, and they're not ever going to stick in the end anyway. So we try and make it a little bit harder for them to join the team. I'll do a secondary interview call. If they're unlicensed, I say that they have 24 hours to book their test and then 7 to 14 days to pass their test. And then I'll tell them that after 24 hours, if they haven't booked their test, they automatically get booted from the system. So to like make sure it gets done that day. And then yeah, that's kind of my process right now for contracting and getting people in.
Give us some examples of people that you say no to.
That's a good question. I don't like it when people reschedule a lot of interview calls. It shows that they're not serious. If they're late to it, I don't like that either. Another like really big things that I look for though are people who are scared to invest. I think everyone's going to be scared to invest, but who like tell me that they're flat broke. That's another big thing. Like I really don't want to bring someone on to the team who is like in debt or like has has no money in their bank account, because like we all know, even if you make a bunch of sales on your first day, usually nowadays the turnaround for you to get paid is still about 2 weeks. And you don't want to put someone in a worse position. So usually I tell them that they should have like at least $1,000 to their name to pay their bills, or at least their bills paid. Um, the people who are a little bit shocked at I require them to work 9 to 7. You know, I know lots of teams who require 9 to 9, you know, so the people who are shocked at the 9 to 7 and don't want to do something like that, like don't want to work 50 hours a week. I've had people ask me on interview calls, what's the minimum amount of hours I can work? People who are just like lazy, you know, I really break down what you put into this business is what you're going to get out of this business.
Got it. Do you have a lot of people that, because you go into an office every day, do you have a lot of
Yeah.
people that are trying to find that? And if they're not going to the office, how do you hold those people accountable and um, give them a good environment?
Yeah, so we try and make Zoom fun. You know, you don't want you don't want to hate your life when you're on Zoom, but also you want to have like freedom too. So like I say for the first 90 days, I also set my expectations incredibly clear. And I'm like, listen, if you're not able to give this 90 days of a chance, like if you're not able to give this 3 months of a chance out of your entire life, don't quit your job, because I think most people like fall off within the first 90 days. You have to give it a shot. So I set expectations clear that you're not going to make like, not everyone's going to get rich quick within their first 90 days. Like some people have a quick start. I had a quick start. But a lot of people, it takes about 3 to 6 months before they like actually start to do, super well. You know what I'm saying? I think
Yeah.
I missed the question though. Say the question one more time because I got off on a tangent.
Um, well, if they can't go into an office, like
Oh, okay,
what's
okay,
the
okay. I got.
environment for them?
Yeah. Again, it goes back to expectations though, of like 9 to 7. I say if you're not on Zoom from 9 to 7, do not call me with questions. You know what I mean? Because it's important to set expectations clear. If you give everyone like the freedom and the leeway to do whatever they want, and in the beginning when they're kind of lost, they're just gonna fail. So I'm like, hey, you need to be on Zoom from these hours, for me to train you. And then in person, I always stress that in person, people are going to pick up on things a lot quicker, just because one, you're surrounded by the fire, right? So if a bunch of people around you are selling and you're not doing the best, at least you see that this is what's possible. With Zoom, it can be a little harder. Like, yeah, people are making sales on Zoom, but when you think about it, like you're by yourself, like in your room usually, or like in an office, or like you're alone for the
Right.
most part. So it is a little bit tougher, I think, over Zoom to kind of pick up on things. And I do tell people that, but that's why it's so important to set expectations at the beginning of, do not expect to make $20,000 your first month. I've seen it happen. I'm not going to tell you that it's impossible, but I will tell you that most people, it takes 3 to 6 months to actually really pick up on things.
Got it. I think that's super important.
Yeah.
Um, we were just talking to somebody about this, about buying people leads and what does that look like? And, none of us could really come up with somebody who was dependent on somebody to buy them leads that it actually worked. And I
Right.
think it's really just a belief issue. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
really believed you could make it work, you'd find $1,000,
For
you
sure.
know? Um, and it's kind of like a red flag. Like really, that's the way I started looking at it a long time ago. It's like you can't find a way to do it. Like it's not gonna work. I can't drag you.
Yeah.
Um, so you sell a lot too. So what does your schedule look like as far as like balancing the recruiting, your interviews, how much time you're spending on the phone? Are you booking appointments to run your sales calls? Is somebody helping you book the appointments? Are you dialing out from a certain amount of time to a certain amount of time, or what are you
Mm-hmm.
doing?
Yeah, I've again, I think this business, one thing that we can all learn, and need to know is that your schedule and your system and your leads, they're always going to be changing. Like you're never going to be able to ride the same system and the same schedule for forever. Like my schedule has changed 20,000 times since I first started. So my schedule right now, I try and take interview calls from like 8:30 a.m. to I think noon, and then during that time, if I don't have any interviews, I do like to focus a lot of the time on like my agents, and like training and like being a little bit more focused on listening to their calls from like 8:30 to noon. And then from noon to usually 7, sometimes 8, I'm just dialing the whole day. Now, right now, I do have a dialer. So I pay someone in the Philippines, cheap labor, I pay them, and they just book appointments for me. And I'll say at least I make at least like 3 sales from those. So I always make my money back, because $400 a week to have like 4 appointments per day booked for you is pretty good. I usually suggest doing that for someone who has their time a little bit split up. Because a lot of my time, even though like I'm supposed to be dialing and focused, I'm still on Zoom all day with my agents. And so I still do have to like stop dialing to help them, to like answer questions, to listen in on their calls. And so having someone that, is booking appointments for me and like calling through my old leads that I don't have time to hit has really helped the production as well.
Good. Okay. Um, do you start everybody out on a certain type of lead, or what do you do with that? Like,
Yeah.
is it final expense? Is it vet leads? Is it IULs?
Mhm. Yeah, so we all do vet leads. Again, that's something that I've switched around a lot too, but consistency is key, especially with the lead type. Like your lead vendor is never going to be able to stay the same because like meta ads, whatever, it's always going to flip flop. But for the most part, we've tried to stay just on vets. And I also think it's important for me to work the same type of lead as my agents, because if I'm on sales calls and they're listening to my sales calls and I'm saying something different than what they're saying, it is going to throw them off a little bit. Like I want to be unmuted for them to hear me so they can like pick up on the things and apply it to the same type of lead that they're working. So we do, yeah, like 90% of us do vets.
And thinking about new agents, what are the one or two, three things that all new agents are struggling with the sales early on, do you think, that you see over and over?
It's a good question. So I would say brand new agents, there's a lot of like fear and worry, especially in your first month when, you might not be making like a ton of money, because it takes a little bit of time for carriers to pay you out and stuff like that. And so a lot of times what I'll see is people will go a week or 2 weeks in their first, 2 or 3 weeks without making a sale, and they just give up. I think
Mm.
we are so, like, as a society, we are so stuck in our heads of like salary and making hourly wage that you'll go 2 weeks without making a sale and you'll be like, man, I just worked 80 hours for nothing. I'm quitting. When I can't tell you, I can't tell you how many times I've had agents where they don't make a sale for their first 2 weeks. And then what happens? Their first sale's a banger. They made $4,000 or they made $2,000. And then, man, like if you would just give it a little bit more time and a little bit more consistency, like you would see it pay off. There's like this analogy. It's like a meme. I don't know, whatever. And it's this guy and he's digging for diamonds and he's going, and right before he hits this big patch of diamonds, he stops, he turns around, he goes home. It's the same thing with this. It's like we all are stuck in this mentality of like, man, I just did all this work and I have $0, when they were so close to just hitting a big sale. So my biggest piece of advice for like brand new agents is just give it more time. Especially, yeah, brand new agents that don't come from sales experience, because sometimes
Hmm.
people, when you're heavily versed in sales and things like that, like it might be a little easier to pick up on things. But people who don't come from sales and they only know that 9 to 5 mentality, um, you got to know 90 days to 6 months is normal. I would say I know a bunch of people who are absolutely crushing it in the business where their first 6 months they sucked. And what did they do that's different is they stuck with it. They didn't give up when it was hard.
Yeah, I sucked for the first 6 months. I
Yeah.
couldn't I couldn't sell my way out of a paper bag. The first award I got doing any of this was the most improved award, and it was like a
Yeah.
year and a half in, and I
Yeah.
was so proud. And it was basically like, hey, like the award's basically like, you don't suck as bad as you used to.
Exactly. There you go. And I think like it's so easy to compare ourselves with everyone online. So easy, because what does everybody post? They only post the good stuff. But you didn't
Right.
know that that person that's been in the business for a year, 2 years, their first 90 days, 6 months, even a year, they sucked. Like people
Mhm.
don't see that. They only see the good stuff. So whenever, you suck in the beginning, you think that you're the only one and that it's not meant for you. But like in reality, I truly believe that a lot of people, basically anyone, can do this job. If you can read and write and speak, you can sell insurance. It's just about being consistent enough with lead flow, with activity, and with your mindset. And like eventually it's going to click.
I love it. All right, so we're gonna pretend like I'm a recruit and I have an interview with you, and then people want to hear what you say. Like that's what everybody's putting in the thing.
Actually, I have like a little, sometimes like I pretty much have it all memorized, but I'm gonna give you guys my recruiting pitch, because I'm in the
Nice.
office with some fire recruiters, or like Zach Twardowski. Like Zach has like one of
Yeah.
the big yeah. So a lot of this came from Zach. It's not me. I can't take credit for any of it. Okay. Anyway,
Okay.
all right. So in
I
the
was on
beginning,
time.
all right, all right. All right, so Trey, tell me a little bit about yourself. What are you doing right now for work, and what had you interested in doing a commission-only sales job selling life insurance?
Well, I work at a furniture store. Um, they're cutting back my time,
Mm.
and I need to do something else because I'm just not making enough money.
Not making enough money. Okay, do you have like a family, like wife, kids?
Yep, I have a wife and two children.
Two children. Okay, so backs against the wall, and you really need to make a switch. What had you thinking about like commission only sales job? Because that's a big risk. Are you commission only right now with the furniture store, or it's base plus commission?
No, I just get hourly there, but I did sales in the past. I used to sell water softeners, so I did survive off commission before.
Okay, okay, so you know what it's like. Awesome.
Yes.
Well, Trey, I want to kind of tell you a little bit about the business and what it would take to really make it in this. We'll do a two-step interview process. So right now, like I said, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. I'll answer any questions. So be thinking of some questions that you might have. And then after this, we'll do a secondary interview call as well. So basically,
Okay.
we sell life insurance. This is an independent brokerage, so you own your full book of business. Per policy, the average commission is around 700 to 1,500 bucks. Now, Trey, you get paid as soon as the client pays that initial premium. So if that's as soon as you're selling it, then usually you're getting paid within 48 hours. Now, most of what we do is also a one call close. So the average sale takes about 25 to 45 minutes. Everything is very quick. And side note, this is something that I really stress with people who come from door to door or like solar specifically, and even real estate, because their pay time is crazy long. Like people who are in real estate, it takes them like 6 months. Okay, back in a role play. Now, next thing, Trey, is that this is a leads ran business. So you're not going to have to sell your friends and family. You're not going to be the annoying guy at the barbecue that everyone's running from because you're trying to sell them life insurance. We do provide leads in the very beginning for the first 6 weeks. And then after that, it's up to you to buy leads. Now, lead flow is going to be your cash flow. You cannot sell a lot of insurance without having a lot of people that want to buy insurance from you. Now, most agents, they spend about 1,000 to 1,500 bucks per week on leads, and they're making anywhere from like 5 to 15 grand per week off of that investment. So the ROI is really high because this is high ticket sales. And then the very last thing is that this is a remote opportunity. So we have an office based out here in Austin, Texas. Where are you based out of?
California. I'm in the
California.
desert. I live in the Mojave Desert in California.
Oh boy. Okay. Okay. So we do have required hours for you to be on Zoom. The hours required would be 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Central. Now, for my people who are PST, usually I let you hop on a little later, like 8 to 6 your time, just because no one wants to get up at 7 and hit the phones. But if you do want to, that's when we'll be on the Zoom to train. Now, it's really important that when you're on Zoom, you have your camera on and your mic unmuted when you get on a sales call, because that's how I'm going to coach you through everything. Now, we do have a script that walks you through everything from "Hi, my name's Trey" all the way down to "Here's your policy number." So if you can read and write, you can sell insurance. Now, I know I kind of went
Okay.
over a lot. What questions do you have for me? And then I would just, usually that first interview call, depending on like the questions that they ask and like how well versed they are on like sales, it's usually anywhere from like 5 to 15 minutes on average. It's pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what happens? How do we get to the next call? Is there homework
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
um
Absolutely, yeah. So this is like call to action. And again, I got this from, people like Wiley Hawkins and Zach, is you want to give them some homework. Like you want to have them do like an actionable step. So what I'll have them do is I'll have them watch a video from Zach, and it's like a 20-minute business overview FAQ. After I tell them after they watch that video to send me a text message and let me know that they've watched it. Because I want them to like, I mean, if it's not for them, like I just laid out everything there is. You have to buy leads, like it's really quick pay. You have to work super long hours, but that's what's required. So like usually if they don't watch the video and they don't text me afterwards, it's because they didn't think that they could do that, which is good. Like thank God you just saved me, 90 days, right? Um,
yes.
yeah, so then I'll have them watch the video, and then I'll have them book a secondary call. So I'll send them a link to book another call with me. Um, and the other call is less me talking and more like figuring out about their situation and like their personality type, and see if it would be someone that like I could work with.
Mm. Yeah, you know what's interesting is back in the beginning of FFL, we would do these. I can't remember what we called them anymore. Um, it was a Friday call, but we had a name for it. But on these Friday calls, we would take people that were killing it from all different parts of the country, and they would get interviewed. And what would happen is like these best practices would emerge, and they would come from people that never met each other. But you find out like they're doing the same thing, and they think it's their idea. It's like it's like the best end up like finding the stuff that works. And
Exactly.
in the
Exactly.
beginning, with the recruiting, it was the same way. Like we would use a video to do the heavy lifting. I would try to talk people out of it before I try to talk them into it.
Hmm.
I told them the good, bad, and the ugly, and if they still wanted to do it, that was what I would work with.
Yeah.
But what a lot of people do is like, and then on the second call, I'm trying to figure out what their situation is. Like some of the stuff I'm trying to figure out is like, is their spouse going to be supportive? Is there money coming into the
Hmm.
household? Are they behind on every single bill? Or are they going to go try to write their cousin because they're about to lose their house? Like I'm trying to find stuff like that out. How much time can they give it before they give up? Um,
Exactly.
just exactly the kind of stuff you just said right now. But
Yeah.
some way along the way, people got into this mindset that they had to like talk people into it.
Hmm.
Like they were like begging them to join. I'm so glad you're not doing it that way. Good job.
Yeah, I think it's just like with the products that we sell, like life insurance, everyone needs life insurance. The only things that are promised are death and taxes, right? So it's not like we should be convincing people that they have to buy life insurance. The same thing like with this is like there's a need. Like this is such a fantastic opportunity. We shouldn't have to convince people to do this. The other thing is if you sugarcoat everything, what happens when they actually join? And
Yeah.
then they're gonna see either way that it's not like a walk in the park. So you might as well tell them up front than just be like, oh, this is a get rich quick, like you can, you're gonna make $20,000 your first month. So yeah, you might as
Yeah.
well give it straight.
Amen to that. You make it a lot easier on yourself.
Yeah.
Um, you know. So well shoot, this has been really good. Let me see if there's any other some people posted, but other people were answering. Like people asked for Zach's video, but somebody posted it already. Um, New agent FAQ. Yeah, I love all that. As far as
Mhm.
sales tips, like what are some sales tips as far as like the phone script and asking people to buy? Like, what are some things
Yeah.
you have for people that are trying to go from, writing 10 grand a month to writing 40?
Yeah. I think the two things that you can control in this business, because this is business at the end of the day, it's uncontrollable because it's sales. You know what I mean? Like there's only so much that you can control. So control the controllables, which is activity and lead flow. You're really only going to be able to ride off of free leads, like you said earlier, for so long. Like I've never seen someone make over like 5 to 8 grand a month off free leads. And as soon as like you get over that hump, like that's when you're really going to start making money. So lead flow. If you're struggling with lead flow, up your budget. This is another thing that I learned from Zach. Like if you have a bad week, let's just say like I spent 2 grand on leads one week and I only wrote like 5 grand. Next week I'm not going to spend $1,000. Like I'm not going to sell less, or I'm not going to spend less. I'm going to double it, or I'm going to spend more to make up for what I didn't write last week. So lead flow is like a big thing. I think we get trapped in that so much, and like I'm guilty of it too. I get it. The other thing is like consistency with your schedule. So when I was in my first 90 days to 6 months, I was working 8 to 8 every day for sure. I was very diligent with the process. Like it sucked in the beginning, and you're gonna feel like you don't have a life outside of work, but think bigger picture. This is like entrepreneurship truly, and 6 months out of your life of grinding to be able to like be truly financially free for years and years and years once you get that skill level down is worth it. So like it's gonna suck in the beginning, but like get over that hump. So lead flow and activity, those are like really the two main things that you can actually control when it comes to selling. Another thing is I think a lot of people blame every other factor but themselves. unfortunately. They blame the company, they blame the upline, they blame like the carriers, they blame everybody but themselves. Think of the things that you could do to be better. You could be watching videos, you could be getting training. Like what I love about FFL, and this is a great example, like I'm not on your team, Trey. You know what I mean? Like you came down to Austin and you trained our team and you're not on our team. There's so many people, actually everyone in FFL is willing to help. So like if you
Yeah.
feel like you're not getting like the training or like the mentorship that you want, don't just be like, "Man, I'm going to go to a different IMO. It's going to be the same thing there." Like reach out to other people and ask for help. The people who are going to make it and the people who are going to do well, it doesn't matter what is like obstacle is in their way, like they're going to get over that hump no matter what. So stop blaming every other outside source for your own problems. Like it's genuinely up to you to make it in this business. Just like if you owned a restaurant or something like that, um, it's like it's entrepreneurship. You got to spend money to make money. And if you're going to go out of your way to do like a commission only sales job, you might as well go all in and do everything you can to like really make it.
Man, that was good. I'm gonna edit just that part. Like that's gonna be our new recruiting video. Like, we just need to put that up. That was good. Alathea, thanks for jumping on with us. This
Yeah.
was awesome. If you guys got a lot out of this, put a one in the chat. Show Alathea some love. Thank you for jumping on.
Thanks for
And
having me on, Trey. I appreciate it. Yeah, if anyone
this was fun.
wants to reach out and ask any questions, like I'm always available to help too. Like FFL is just one big family at the end of the day. So I think all of us are able to sit down and like train and do some mentorship.
Well, thank you so much for your time. You guys make it a great week. We are doing at 5 Pacific. I'm doing the virtual business overview. If you guys are going to get on that, it's fflvbo.com. I have new slides. I'm super excited about my new slides. My goal is to be through the thing with testimonials from agents in 20 minutes. So if you have people that are looking to join the business, get them on. I'll tell the story. You line them up. I'll knock them down. Thanks for jumping on. You guys make it a great week.